In his homily at Mass in the Casa Santa Marta on Thursday, Pope Francis reflects on God's love for each of us in Jesus, saying tenderness is the key to understanding the love of Christ. The Holy Spirit helps us to understand the love of Christ for us and to prepare our hearts to allow ourselves to be loved by the Lord. Pope Francis made that point during Mass on Thursday as he reflected on first reading. St. Paul, he said, could seem to some to be too proud or too sure of himself when he affirms that anguish or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or the sword will succeed in separating us from Christ, a mother's love. Pope Francis said St. Paul is really showing us that we conquer overwhelmingly through the love of Christ. Ever since Lord called to Paul along the road of Damascus, apostle to the Gentiles, sought to understand the mystery of Christ. He had fallen in love with Christ, said the Pope, caught up in a strong love and not in a soap opera type of story. St. Paul felt the Lord accompany him through all manner of good and bad times. He felt this in love. I asked myself, do I love the Lord like him when hard times come? How often do we feel the desire to say, the Lord has abandoned me, he doesn't love me anymore, and then seek to abandon the Lord in return. But Paul was sure that the Lord would never abandon him. He had understood the love of Christ in his own life. This is the path that Paul shows us, the path of love at all times, through thick and thin at every moment. This is the greatness of Paul. Give our lives for others. Christ's love, Pope Francis added, cannot be described. It is immeasurable. It is really He who was sent by the Father to save us. He did so with love. He gave His life for me. There is no greater love than to give your life for another person. We can think about a mother, the love of a mother, for example, who gives her life for her child, accompanying him or her through life in difficult moments. Jesus' love is near to us and is not an abstract love. It is a you, me, you, love each of us with our own name and surname. Tears for each of us in Luke's Gospel. Pope Francis focused on something concrete in Jesus' love. International Desk, Christian Times.